Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome. Thank you so very much for joining me. Zeus and Mr. Crafting and Relaxing are playing fetch, so don't mind the random banging when the ball hits us. Now, this is not a tutorial. I know I say that a lot on my channel, but I want to be clear, this is not. I will try and remember to link you to Gail Augustinelli, and then her video links to the person that inspired her to make it. I'm going to make a journal cover, and I'm building it on this white on white because I don't have muslin. I know, weird. Nancy and I were brainstorming. I looked for an old pillowcase. I looked for some different things, but I'm going to use this. Then I went on a scrap busting spree for Smash Our Stash. Maybe that was November. I can't remember. This was one of the leftover items. Tiny scrap journal cover was the box. It is literally scraps and tinier scraps and tiny scraps. Girls, please stop it. The girls are fighting. They have like 3 modes. And right now we're in fighting mode. I don't necessarily have them sorted by color or theme or anything. The examples that I have seen, I think it can get really crazy looking if you just take everything you have. I'm thinking blue or red, white, and blue. And I don't know exactly what I have. This is actually black. I thought it was navy. Oh, this one is navy. And I'll just go through and pick some stuff out and see what we get. And the best ones are really, if you're a quilter and you have a million of those little triangles, those are the really good ones. The problem with those is they're not necessarily in the color palette that I want. So maybe we'll use some of those. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll go like blue, violet, red. I don't know. And I don't know if you want to watch all that. Like this is not going to be on my journal cover. Sorry, Katie. I don't know what that one was about. Look, clearly she was making something patriotic here. So these aren't actually my scraps. These are from my quilter friend. This is what she calls her trash. And, oh, look at that one. They're gorgeous, I think. So we're going to lay a bunch of things out. We're not going to use all these pink ones. We know that. And when we're done with this, I'm going to probably put these in a pile in my Facebook group to go away. Huh, Kara, do these speak to you? I don't know. If they do, message me under the video or something. And it's like a circus here. Now Zeus is inside drinking water. I'm going to put all the ones I don't like. This one actually is big enough for something in a fall journal, and it's kind of fun, so I might keep that. But all the pink ones and ones that I just don't want in my life anymore, I'm going to put over there. And then we will end up with A, fewer scraps, B, a cool journal cover, and a go-away pile, right? I'm always making a go-away pile. Now, I'll give you the short version. Put a million scraps on this white thing so you can't see it. Lay this stuff over it, sew on top of it, then wash this off. This dissolves. It's called Embroidery Keeper or something. It's also called Water Soluble Film Stabilizer. My friend Nancy found this, I think at Joann or somewhere. I think she went and bought a section off of a bolt and then sent me a piece. So we could both try it out and see if we like it. And in fact, she has sent me enough to make 2 journal covers, and it was only, you know, the price of the product and the price of a stamp. So fun way to share something with somebody, but not, you know, spend a fortune on Happy Mail. I don't know. Maybe she sent me a miserable project. We'll have to see. She's already made hers, and I've been kind of putting mine off for a couple of reasons. A, it doesn't fit in with anything else I'm doing most of the time. And then I thought, well, it's going to take a while and it needs to go between collabs. And then I think part of me was just like, I got to get some sharper scissors. Was just like, well, you know, it's scary. It's new. It's different. And I don't know how big I want my scraps to be really. And I don't know for sure that I want them pushed down like I'm doing. This fabric has some texture, like tone-on-tone pattern to it. I don't think I want to go this way. I don't know that I want the cream and the... This came to help. And this loves to, see, she's already been chewing on it, chew on plastic. So since this is water soluble and definitely not kitty recommended, let's take all the scraps out of the thing. And then I have to put everything that I need safe in plastic containers here. This is Miss Zelda. She's the little one. Oh yeah, this is not going to work. Okay, we need a kitty intermission. I don't know. I thought I was recording for a while, but turns out I wasn't. Anyway, I've been processing scraps. I have 2 spoiled rotten kittens locked outside. So there's a lot going on here. And I decided that since, ooh, I like this one. Since Nancy sent me enough to make 2 journal covers, plus there's always the risk that the first one's not going to work. As I go through all these scraps, I'm going to set aside some fall colors too, because it looks to me like my friend Katie definitely did some fall projects with some of these fabrics. Oops. So that will probably help. Now, I think this project probably turns out better if you have your scraps ironed and you aren't tearing as many, so you don't have all this. But yeah, I don't care. I think it'll be fun, and I'm going to leave it. If you're new here, I'm not fiddly. This is crafting and relaxing. If you're not having fun doing it, then this will be the very last time we do it, I can assure you. I think we're going to want a little bit of white, and I like this pattern much better than the one I'm covering up. The fabric that I have that's in decent size sheets either came in like shop hops, or Katie gave it to me or something. So very often it's not high quality, and it's probably not the cutest. But it doesn't take much to make a journal cover, you know? Ooh, I like this one. I don't remember seeing Katie use this on anything. So I'm just tearing them up and going through and saying, okay, nope, that's not going to touch my journal cover. That's not. There are some more whites in here. So if I think I need to tone it down, I'm going to leave this one sitting out for us. Please hold. I think we've calmed down a bit. My house is old and the door to this room is already scratched up. But I think these 2 kittens are harder on it than whoever came before them in the, I don't know, 50 years? This house is not young. And it has the old solid door. So, I mean, it's not like I can replace the door or anything if they do stupid things. Zelda she just wants what she wants. She is my little devil girl. Okay, here we go. I think if we find some more, ooh, red, as I was saying, that would be good. And I think smaller pieces are better. Some of the ones I've thrown down here are clearly too big. I have a spray bottle, and I think she's at the age where I need to start using it. Can you hear her? It is ridiculous. She does better if she can't hear me. So if I was in here, ooh, I like this. Yeah, I might use that. There's no rules. It's sort of white. I think if it's too much the same, like, I don't know, what's the quilter term? There's contrast, oh, value, right? Like, if it's too much the same and it's all like medium blues, it will be annoying. Okay, we'll throw in a few of those. I think it takes a lot of scraps. Like, maybe I'm halfway there. Okay, I'm going to throw this in my fall pile behind me. This is actually a very interesting way to process scraps. So I'm going to throw all these in my fall, and based on the videos I saw, these are pretty perfect. I'm not going to mix in the black polka dots because I have some blue, 2 different blue fabrics. Let's use this. It is a tie. Ooh, let's use this. It is a tie that, well, in my mind, it could have been a journal tie, but in Katie's, it was the edge of something, wasn't it? Okay, I already have some of this circle fabric, so we'll just cut it off right here and put it in case we need more blue pile. And then we'll use this. And I was taking off the selvage edge on some of them, but I think I'll leave it on some of these just for contrast, right? A little more interest. I don't know, having never done this before, if these are too small. I don't know if later I won't like it if they're jagged. I don't have any idea. What I do know is I didn't appreciate the ones that were no pattern to them, just complete scraps. And I think if your friend likes colors that you don't like and you use her scraps, that'll go very badly, right? But this, oh, this I'm loving. Okay, so we have an idea. Now I think probably, I'm gonna pull these out, I'm not gonna use these. I think I probably need to do a better job, like starting to lay things out. And maybe if you have like, say you have a bowl or a big bag of tiny bits like this, which I know some people do, you could just dump it on there and start spreading it out. Because I think that's the idea, but I do need to make sure they're right side up too. I don't know that there's any like system or anything. And I think if I get like too systematic, it probably isn't good. I don't know. I do know you're supposed to cover up all the white. Remember I said this wasn't a tutorial. But essentially you're covering that up because you just want your bits to show. And some of you would use actual muslin probably if you had it, and it might not match your color palette. Like maybe you're doing bright purple only. I don't know. That's a big one. I don't know if we want one that big. Ooh, I like this one. This one is nice too because we brought in that sheet music that has a cream background. I can't even get it torn. Some of these are like Joann quality fabric, and then some of them aren't. Okay, there we go. So just keep laying things out right side up. And mine's gonna have a messy edge. And if you've met me, that makes total sense. We'll use this as a touch of red just because I think we're short on red. There's some weird banging too in my neighborhood. They're building a house. So you might hear that sometimes in the coming months. Okay, I know, tedious. You can shut this off if you want. I would not blame you one bit. In fact, I would like someone else to maybe do this part for me. Oops. So all the strings that I have, those are catching a little bit. Now, one of the demos, she took, my jar's pretty clean. She took thread and put it on the top. Like I have a bunch of blue right here. That's kind of cool. And I was thinking, what if I did that with silver? Okay, don't let me forget. Don't let me forget that just because we get it all laid out, we're not supposed to top it yet. But you could use a bunch of threads. Now, while I'm laying this out, should we go? I don't think so. I like the texture and the color, but it's just so tealy. Let's open up this thing that says nothing big or long bits. But let's put it in something. Here. Because I don't want to spread it out on top of our project. But I want you to be able to see. Okay, this is pretty much like the kind of bin you want for this. Ooh, look at that one. Do we have any of that fabric yet? Maybe. We're going to get that one. So my friend Katie used to. She doesn't do it this way anymore because it got away from her. She used to have like a wicker laundry basket type thing that she threw all her scraps in as she quilted and did projects. And she does a lot of like small things too. She has an embroidery machine, so wall hangings, that kind of thing. That's why they're such little items. But she would put them in there, and then I'm turning away from the camera a bunch because I have these, I'm sorting as we go, remember? So let me try and change it up so that my sorting doesn't take me away from you. Anyway, so she would throw them all in there, and then I came along and said, okay, great. But even with me being around, that thing just got too big. So now she doesn't do it this way. She like processes all her scraps as she goes. I don't know. It's kind of crazy and organized. It's not my kind of thing, you know. There we go. Okay. Tan. Put that in the fall. Now there's a lot of red. Here we go. But it's A lot of it is like a burgundy pink, kind of like that. Which, if we get enough good red, we might pull that one. Because I am picky about my reds. So anyway, she doesn't make any scraps now. She has everything in her room processed into like 2x2 sections or squares, or not all 2x2, but like if it's tiny, it goes 2x2. Nothing just sits around like this, which doesn't work out as good for me, let me tell you. No, just kidding. I have plenty. She gave me the whole basket at one point, and it was like overwhelming. Couldn't even handle it. Now I'm trying to say, okay, let's get this stuff used up. I have a cupboard that I refer to as the cupboard of shame, and it was full of this kind of stuff. And we've been trying to address it and deal with it, and there's actually room for the kittens to sleep in it now, so that's a good sign. I'm just laying them down, and I was cutting those threads, but I'm not going to cut the threads off, because if I'm making this for me, I love my July dailies to be super junky. Love it. So a whole bunch of threads hanging off sounds great to me. Now, it sort of moves around a little, you know, especially because I'm trying to lay mine out flat, partly because they're so wrinkled and stuff too. And I don't know, maybe you're not supposed to work so hard to make sure they're flat, but it's going to be cool. Now, the sheet music, I have a little angst, but I think this is like, have you heard me talk about picking a paint color? If I go too conservative, I'm not going to love it. It has to have a little bit of variation and a little bit of wow factor. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a chocolate mint wall. And let me tell you, you don't want that, because when he says, I will not repaint that wall, he means it. I am not supposed to be on ladders, so I don't get to paint the wall. In fact, we were watching a Christmas movie and a girl fell and the guy caught her, and I said, oh, something about, would you catch me? You know, I always make fun of him when we watch movies like that. And his response was, you're not supposed to be on ladders. I was like, oh, well played, Mr. Crafting and Relaxing. Okay, I kind of love this. Do you guys? I think, you know, some of you would make some like pink and green. That's what Bess would. You could do themes too. Like, I should probably do one. Oh, wait, I don't have enough Christmas fabric. But if you had Christmas fabric, you could do that. Or you could just do red and green. You could do like Halloween scary ones. I think if I was going to do a Halloween one, I'd try and go like purple and orange. A little bit wild. But I don't, you know, I just never get around to Halloween. Today is December 26th, which is kind of like a bonus day because I didn't have to work. There's no holiday gatherings. I did a pretty good job yesterday evening. We were home for Christmas, and I did a pretty good job like tidying up my room. So today I was like, okay, I don't have a collaboration deadline. What am I going to work on? And sorry, I don't know if you can really see. There we go. Is that better? And I thought, well, I'm going to work on clearing out and UFOs. And I'm trying to figure out my goals for the year. And I think there's going to be like a theme of clearing out or cleaning up or something. I don't know what it is yet, but it's not just a no-buy for me. If you're new here, that's probably confusing for you. But a lot of stuff just comes into my life. I don't necessarily buy it. And if you don't pay attention to that stuff too, whew, you can get, it can get away from you. Look, this part, so keep an eye on yourself when you're doing this. This part looks super cool. This part, the scraps are getting bigger and farther apart because I'm like, oh, this is taking forever. Just kind of watch yourself and be sure you're still having fun and doing a good job. Maybe take a break if you're like, okay, this is terrible. I don't have my chair, my fancy, cute, I'm going to put something heavy on these because they're super wrinkled, drafting chair. It's in the other room because it was becoming a kitten playground and I wasn't sure it was going to come back from that. So doing like tedious stuff, I'm like, oh, I miss my chair. I do have another chair in here, but it's kind of the same thing where I try and keep it covered up because they want to damage it. It has a wicker seat. So both of them, they're like, these are magical kitty nail sharpening things. Okay, I'm gonna, try and hurry up so I don't get so bored. And I'm trying to watch, I might need more variety in my fabrics because maybe I have too many of the same, and that's part of what's causing me trouble. And I'm not thinking about, I don't know, maybe you're watching me and you're like, oh, she should be. I'm not thinking about like what goes on top of what. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not layering a certain direction or anything like that. The other thing is, in a couple places, my white is showing through, but since I'm doing red, white, and blue, I don't have to worry about that. I almost used like some random item from my house, and I'm glad I didn't because this is better for lazy collaging. Okay, to speed this up a little, I'm going to take some of these blue ones that I have multiples of and just kind of spread them out. Not try and like layer as I go. So instead of working my way through a space, I'm saying, okay, I have these items and I don't want them to touch, so I'm going to just start putting them down. Maybe that's faster collaging for me. I will probably not ever teach you the best way, but I will teach you the lazy person way. I feel like I have a lot more blue up there too. So I bet when you get done, sometimes you have to stop and go, oop, need a little rearranging. And that's okay. Let's put this in here because we need a little more of that. And we do, I think, have more, right? Let's pay attention to if we have more of certain fabrics, then we can cut them at the end and mix it up. But if we don't have more, we have to think about where they're going. I ended up with a lot more red than I expected, which I'm not unhappy about, not one bit sad. I just didn't know. Okay, it is easier if your scraps aren't so wrinkled because they won't lay down. There's a lot of batiks in Katie's stash, so these blue ones are nice. This is what's giving me trouble. I'm actually going to do something nerdy, which I almost never do, but I have the iron out because I ironed this. I'm going to iron these so they'll lay flat because I really want them to show. And if they're too wadded up, they won't lay flat. Ironing is all relative. Here's what I will say. They are flatter than they were. How about that? My mom is a hardcore quilter, and when she irons, it's meticulous. She re-irons everything for me. Which, I mean, hello, am I sad about that? No. Okay, now I love this fabric because it brings in the red and two blues, and it's just fun variety. So let's add some more of it. And maybe in bigger chunks. Maybe I'm making them too small because it's a pattern and it's tricky to get it to lay down. So let's put in a big chunk right there. Plus, we might want to give some thought to what's the front and the back before we call it done. I can't think of another journal where, well, there was one where I used fabric scraps, but I wasn't, I'm rearranging and smushing some of them together because as I laid things out, I left pretty big gaps. But there wasn't one, I don't think, where I laid fabric like this. I've only done like a grid kind of thing. There. And some red. And we're going to want some red down here. Actually, this red is different, so let's bring it in here just because we didn't have any. Okay, it doesn't suck as much as I thought. I admit it, Nancy. I was kind of putting it off because I was like, I feel like laying out all those little bits is not going to be that fun, but it kind of is fun. It's a very, do I want any more of this white? Well, I kind of like it right there. It's a very freeing, not next to the tan though, method of collage, right? I mean, it is, this has like snowflakes or something, which I don't really want the snowflake, but it's a nice navy. Okay, there. And this is just lovely. Let's put this pretty batik right here. I think it gets pretty thick, and that's okay. There's something about a free-floating foot. I didn't really understand what she was talking about. I sewed very well over 30 years ago. Now, I'm lucky if I can make a bobbin. It's not quite like riding a bike. There. I like any project where, it doesn't fit. Just chop that sucker off. There we go. Okay. Oh my gosh. Now, if you're not a blue lover or a red, white, and blue lover, you're like, what is wrong with this lady? But if you're with me color-wise, you're feeling this. Now, over here, I still have some things that won't quite lay down. So I'll just have to be careful when I pin them, which I'm not really going to do. I had to look forever, by the way, to find actual pins in my house. I thought I was going to have to use safety pins. Okay, iron's still on. I'm going to hit these. My ironing station is on the dryer today, so it's kind of far. I mean, still in the same room, but many steps. Okay. And then, of course, I don't really know how I had them. I don't think that matters so much. Let's use this one because it's flatter and it's not giving me attitude. Okay, let's put this flat piece over it. There we go. This one does have that snowflake. Let's pretend it's a star. Now, maybe some of these will fall off because they're little and I missed them. That's okay. And look, 2 of the same touching. Yeah, I don't think the world's going to end. Okay, a lot of red here. Wow, I'm so surprised by that. Okay, I do want to use this piece just because I don't have very many of those. We need some blue right here, don't we? There. This is very scientific. Very. Blue. Oh, we've got some more of this. Let's use this. And then is this one actually navy? Yeah, it is. Let's use this one too. I don't know if I will like the triangles or the squares better, or if I probably won't like hard edges like that, but I just think, yeah, we'll try it. We'll see what happens. We don't have any of this over here. Let's put that right there. I don't think there's any rules about like how many layers you can have or anything like that. It's just if you can sew through it, it'll work. Let's put one of these down here because we had a lot of that up there. Trying to bring in some of the same fabrics. I really like this one, but I don't think we have any of it. And you don't want it to look like I ran out of all these fabrics before I got to this section, which I mean, I may have. I don't want the writing. There's some cat hair on this. I don't know if it's Katie's or mine, but she lost one of her cats. So I don't know. That might be okay if we have a little bit of her hair in there. That's like sentimental. And their hair is dark. Her cats have dark hair, so I don't think it was my cat's. Okay. Mostly because Eliza's never had access to this stuff. She does have dark hair, but okay, what do we need right there? How about a piece of this? Now, what I think is everything will kind of scooch as you sew. So if you're too cheap with your layers, which I probably have been, that's why I'm like rearranging and overlapping, you won't be able to control it. I mean, you literally won't know, and then you'll end up with a whole bunch of the background showing, which remember in my case is okay, but it might not work for you. Like I had some fabric that I just got rid of because it was ugly. Andrea took it. That surprised me, but it did not speak to my soul. And I thought about using one like that on this if I couldn't find, something better. All those threads. The threads they make it more complex. But keep that in mind. You need to overlap much, much more and be careful. Ooh, this is perfect. About your layers if your background is ugly. Okay, do you kind of love it? I think I do. Now, just to be a little careful, I'm wondering if I should just come back and go, okay, we had a lot of red there. We didn't have much red there. Let's put some. And then here I was kind of cheap with the fabric, so let's put that over it. I don't want this. I don't want any of these. Is yellow fall? I don't know. Oranges. What I will say is we didn't use very many of the scraps. Yeah. Okay, let's look through this a little bit because she made a quilt for one of our friends that had a lot of these navies in it. You're going to see, I mean, really, it was like I should have stolen the quilt. It was ridiculous. But since my mom makes quilts, Kay didn't have a lot of sympathy for me as far as like, oh, you know, I don't get to whine. Like right here, I think this is going to jiggle and show. So let's put a piece of this in and a piece of this. I think down on the bottom half, I got cheaper. I think on the top, I was like, yeah, okay, this is fun. And then I got down here and I was like, yep, and I'm going to speed it up. Still fun, but don't want to be here all day. Now, here's the thing I was thinking about. She took thread and put it on the top. What if I did that with the silver thread? I think we should try it. I have a bunch. I have gold. I don't know why. I think I watched some videos and people had it and I was absolutely sure that I needed it. And then, well, you know how that goes. Now, you could do it a couple different ways. You could just unroll it like I was doing. Or if you wanted it more dense, you could take it like this and then like a big wrapped ball of it, kind of more like that. And I don't think it matters. I think the trick is if you're going to put thread on top like this, I'm committing to stitching a lot because if I miss it, it's going to be weird. And if it's horrible and I've missed it, I can just cut it out, right? I mean, I might have to spend some time watching TV and trimming it, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know. It's a look. And I am branching out. Oh my gosh. Please, please. We were very lucky. Yeah, I don't even know if I have a pincushion in my home. Is that weird? I'm pretty sure my mom would have a heart attack if she knew that. There's a hole right there is what I'm trying to fix. Let's bring some of that stripe in a little farther. Right there. Oops, I almost missed it even. Okay, now I went over the threads. Oh my gosh, I don't even care. There. What do you think? Okay, I'm so excited. Oops. So don't fiddle. And what I keep trying to do is like I was trying to clean the counter around it and it was connected. So don't do that. I don't know how the edges should be. I just know how I did them. Now, the lady that inspired this, she was making embellishments using this technique. And I thought, oh, that's very cool. Very cool. Now, this is like barely wide enough, right? Because Nancy's a journal maker. She knew what she was doing when she bought this and mailed it to me. So my trick is to get it square. There we go. And I think I gave away all my like rolly cutters. I hope I should have checked. Like I should have checked to see if I had to cut this perfect to get another one out of it. Oh yeah, we can make another one. Now when I make my other one, I'll have to remember maybe make it a little shorter. I got nervous and I didn't think about this layer because the lady in the video said your cover shrinks. So I cut it bigger and then I cut this one bigger. You see what I did? But I think it's okay. Now, I think the one that Gail and the lady use, it's white. I don't think you can see through it as much. So this is cool for when you're sewing. I assume this works fine because Nancy already used it. Okay, water soluble, can be washed without leaving any residue, even in cold. What I'm trying to figure out is, does it matter which way up you put it? Is that a weird question? It has a different texture. Yeah, I don't know. Now, I haven't pinned anything in like 100 years. Literally, I can't even think of the last thing I actually, like the last time I made a garment. And there are weird things mixed in. I know, some of you who actually sew are like, oh, good Lord, I'm going to send that girl a pincushion. I don't need one. I'll just lose it. Plus, we might not use it again for 20 years. I'm going to pin the edges. I'm going to sew all the way around this. When the lady sewed it, she put her pins like parallel to the stitching, which was super weird for me. But I think what she was trying to do is make it so that nothing fell out, right? And then she talked about when you pick it up, you have to be careful. It is kind of tricky to pin it too, to pin through this. Now, Nancy, our friend Nancy, she actually sews. Like, she was a quilter, I think. So her skill level is probably a little higher than mine. I mean, like I said, back in the day, but like I was in high school. And then, you know, I didn't sew for a long, long time. In fact, my mom has the machine that I got when I was in high school. She still uses it. Is that funny? Good old Singer. I don't think they make them like they used to, you guys. She has to thread her own needle, though. Her life is hard. My friend Katie gave me a sewing machine that's super fancy. Well, I mean, it's super fancy for my skill level, but I've been threading my own needle on it for like a couple years now, and she just about died laughing. I'm thinking about watching a video and figuring that out. She said it's not hard. You just put it in the thing. I don't know what that meant. I know these are not the fanciest pins either. If you actually sew, come on, let's be honest. If you actually sew, what are you doing watching this video? Oh my gosh, it's going to be so cute. Now, here's how it works. And you should definitely watch the tutorial before you try and make this based on me, right? You sew the whole thing and then you rinse it. You literally just take it. This lady took it in the bathroom sink. She put the plug in, and then I'll probably use a bowl so I don't have to wash the sink. And then she let it sit in there, and then she rinsed it again because she said this stuff is kind of, I don't know, something yucky I'm going to say, but that wasn't her word. But my stuff is different, but I'm still going to follow her advice. Now, she said, and I quote, she sewed on it for 30 minutes. Now, here's what I'll tell you. She sewed a lot faster than I do. So we are not going to do that part together for two reasons. It's loud and annoying. I'd have to move my machine. We're just not. We're not going to do that. So I'm going to come back and show you tomorrow when it's dry what it looks like. How about that? She said, put it out on your line if you're somewhere where it's dry. Well, I'm in Oregon in December, so I think you know how that's going to go. So I'm thinking, I have it pretty warm in the craft room today, like 70. So it'll probably be fine in here. Maybe it's 70, I don't know. If I have to, I'll turn up the heat. I don't always turn up the heat for me, but I do for my craft projects. You don't pin all the way through the middle. You're just pinning the edges, and then you just go sew. And if you have this floating foot thing, then A, you probably haven't made it watching this video where I'm talking about how to do this. And B, I guess it works better. I think the floating foot must like let things be more puffy and move around. I was wondering, like, should I just leave the foot up? But that seemed like a really bad idea probably. When I first started sewing again, I think I did that a couple times. Like I hadn't sewed in so long, had lost the drop the foot reflex. I am imagining this a super junky journal, and it's going to be magical. This is floppy. I don't know if it was like that when Nancy did it. Sometimes I need like a consultation for sewing. I thought about doing this at the beach for girls weekend because then Katie would be around and I could use her nice pins and all that kind of stuff. And then I thought, no, that's just an excuse to put it off and not finish your UFO and not jump into something that you haven't done before. Is there a part of you that when you haven't tried something, you're like, oh, that'll probably take forever and I'm going to put it off? I can't even tell you how long I've put this off. And we're just a little over a half hour in. Oh, there was some more video though, because I had to stop for the cats and stuff. But I mean, I think all in, even finding the white fabric, I don't think I have an hour into this project at this point. And what I was thinking was I was about to start a scrap project. I don't know what sequence the videos will come out in. This will probably come first because the other one will take me forever. And I would be shocked if my room is clean and there's space to film and iron once I start that for probably a couple days. So I thought, well, I should do this one first. Okay, so what the lady did that inspired Gail was she sewed the very edge to hold it down so nothing could fall out, and then she just sewed. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'll show you, I don't know, I might come back and show you the sewed version before I wash it. And here's what they both said. If you don't sew enough, you can sew more later. Gail's was more floppy, like a shag carpet kind of thing. The lady's was much more like pressed down. I think I'm going to sew mine as much as I have the attention span for, just because we know I didn't I probably didn't put enough scraps. Like, I didn't pile it up like shag carpet should be. So if mine are flopping, they're going to show the white underneath. Here we go. It is the next morning, and this is completely dried. You can see that I used red thread. I had a spool of high quality red, so I decided to go with that. Of course, I had lots of blue too. I have two spots, I think, where I might want to put something over it and sew it down because the white underneath shows and it's just kind of not a very attractive spot, but it wouldn't fall off. Having the items not ironed does add some texture because just rinsing them and wadding them up, you know, they don't lay flat. So I have little bits that stick up on this one that I kind of like. I had so much fun. I made another one after this. So there's another video. That video, I think I went a little faster and I won't explain it all. So they'll sort of go together as a series. But here is my journal cover. And when I go to make it, I'll have to decide, does it go this way or does it go, ooh, I kind of like that way, speaks to me. Maybe it's because this one has this little thing I still have to fix. And then the inside of mine turned out pretty cool, but it's so floppy that I don't think I would use it. Plus, my reds ran, as would be expected. I don't remember, maybe I mentioned it earlier in the video and you know, I don't remember what my exact dimension of this white piece of fabric was, but basic quilter and sewing rules apply. Wash the big piece and let it dry because it shrunk up quite a bit. I think that will help stabilize and keep it right. And then maybe if you made enough of them, you'd kind of get an idea of what size you should make them for shrinking. But, you know, it depends on different fabrics. I'll trim my papers. I don't care. It's junky. I'll make it work. Kind of love it. What I'm thinking for the inside is probably some sort of mailer or envelope covered with fabric and then sewed or glued in. So it has a junky, floppy kind of texture and it has fabric and thickness. And I think it would make an amazing July daily. It would be probably just an amazing journal for somebody like Janie or I who love red, white, and blue too. So I loved it. I had a great time. The scraps took longer than I thought. I didn't even hate the sewing. It was pretty fun. I did a terrible job loading my bobbin. It's a long, embarrassing story, but the string was really long and then it made my bobbin tangle up. And I wondered, I think I don't really know how to start winding a bobbin. So pretty sure I need a YouTube video on that, but I got the job done. This one and the other one are probably all I'm going to make. I don't think I'm going to go out and purchase more of the clear stuff to make more, but I had a great time and I'm just excited because I'm processing through my scraps. I won't give away the ones on Facebook until I've patched these up, especially because the fall journal, I took everything in the end, all the little pieces, and dumped a bunch extra that I could use to patch it up. So I need to patch them first. So I'm not really done, but I am done enough, I think, and I could probably fix this up one evening after work this week. So maybe I'll set this in the, like a Tuesday night pile or something. I guess it's already Wednesday. Maybe it'll be the Wednesday night pile. All right. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that you are having a great week, and I hope that you are off all week because that would be wonderful. I know a lot of people in the US do that. I'll be back again soon, either the fall journal cover of this or Smash That Small Pad. Just sort of depends on how the week goes and if I get the video edited. Smash That Small Pad is on the 30th. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.